Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm showing you what you're going to need to start making your own soap. If you're new at making soap, please do not try this at home yet. You're going to have to take note of everything you see here, and also make sure that you watch my soap making safety video to make sure that you're doing this as safely as possible. Caustic soda can be very irritating to the skin, and if not handled properly, you might have some injuries, and these injuries could be really serious. So please take this seriously. Don't try this yet. Just take note of what I'm doing here and what I'm showing you so that you can start planning to get your own utensils if you're a soap making aspirant. First, you're going to need some measuring cups and bowls, okay, like what I have here, different types of cups, measuring cups, and you can have whatever you like. I recommend thick plastic as opposed to the glass for measuring caustic soda. That's because glass can shatter sometimes, so I prefer not to use that when I'm doing the caustic mix. You're also going to need some oils. To mix your soaps, you can use a normal plastic bowl, but to mix your caustic soda and your water, I recommend a stainless steel bowl. This is what I've been using since I started making soap, and it works very well for me to mix my caustic, because when you add water to your caustic soda, it becomes very hot. And this is probably the safest container in which to mix your caustic solution. So this is where I mix it, and I also recommend that you have a couple of these bowls always handy when you're making your soups. I have some melted shea butter here in this container. This is melted shea butter, which I'm going to be using in some of the cosmetic formulations as well as in some of the soap that we're making today. You're going to need a small scale if you're starting out. You don't need a very big scale, so you can use a digital scale used in your kitchen, a regular kitchen scale. I like to measure in grams, so make sure you get something that can measure in different either in ounces or in grams. Just check for the features of the scale to make sure that you can get the unit in which you need to measure. Okay, so you have a little scale. This can take up to a few kilos weight, so it should be fine for small batches of soap. Now I'm using ice to mix my caustic soda because, like I said earlier, when you mix water and caustic soda, the solution becomes extremely hot and can be very dangerous. If you have children or pets around, it could be dangerous to yourself as well. There are also fumes that come out when caustic soda solution is very hot, so I prefer not to mix my caustic solution with room temperature water. I prefer to use very cold water or even ice blocks like I'm about to do here. I've pre-measured the caustic soda, so I'm just going to mix it in with the ice, and you're going to see how quickly the ice is going to melt. There's a reaction that happens when you add caustic soda to water, and please, never the other way around. Always add your caustic to your water and never the other way around. So once you've added the caustic, you realize that it starts to mix in with the ice and is going to melt it down. I'm adding the caustic powder very slowly. Now that's the caustic soda. I'm adding it in very slowly as the ice continues to melt. So we mix until this solution becomes very clear. We continue to mix the solution until it becomes very clear before we set it aside, ready to be used in our soap. When you're making soap, you're always going to need things to clean up. So paper napkins, towels, things that you can use to clean up emergency spills. Paper napkins are always good to have around you because you might just need it for an emergency. So I always have some of these close by, but I like to use my cloth napkins and my towels to clean up. I also have my foam pieces. I love using these because they're very absorbent, so I use these to clean my surfaces when I'm making my soap. Okay, it's almost time to mix. I have my lavender essential oil. I'm going to keep that close by so that we can grab that when it's time to put the essential oil in. We have our oil, and make sure that you always pour the caustic solution into the oil, not the other way around. You don't pour the oil into the caustic solution. You pour the caustic solution into your oil, and then you mix until you see a change, until you see your soap forming. So here we go. I'm gonna grab my stick blender, ready to go. Okay, this is my stick blender, and then I'm going to add my caustic solution to the oil mix. I'm going to switch hands so that you can see this clearly. I add the caustic to the oil, you can see that the solution or the mix becomes an emulsified looking solution. This, my friends, is soap. And depending on your oils, you might have to go really quickly to make sure that the soap doesn't harden while you're mixing it. So you see how quickly the soap thickened up very fast. So now I'm going to add the lavender essential oil. I'm going to add a few drops, let's say about 10 to 20 drops of the lavender oil, and then continue to mix. Make sure that the stick blender doesn't come above the surface because that will cause it to splash. So make sure that your stick blender is always submerged in your soap. So there it is. We're gonna be ready to pour that right away. So you see how thick it is now. It's getting thicker and thicker. So I'm gonna put that back in my jug. Remember, I spoke about that so that it's not putting soap everywhere. And then I'm going to pour. So right here,